You think our ancestors were mighty primitive warriors hunting mammoths, mastering the wild, standing at the top of the food chain? No, not even close. Millions of years ago, our ancestors were just another link in the food chain, like rabbits, like deer, like wild boar. Except the things hunting them were far more terrifying. In 2025, AI analyzed fossils 2 million years old and found bite marks on ancient human bones. Clear, systematic, left by something that had eaten them, not once, not by accident, but for millions of years. There are 5 animals that treated early humans as a daily meal. Some left evidence that survives to this day. And one of them, the most terrifying of all, evolved specifically to hunt us. These are the top 5 animals that hunted early humans for food. The giant eagle. Our ancestors had learned to avoid predators on the ground. They moved in groups. They carried crude weapons. They stayed away from the bushes at night. But no one taught them to look up. Stephanoides coronatus, the ancient African crowned eagle, had a wingspan wider than 3 meters, talons as long as a bear's claws, and a grip strong enough to pierce straight through a human's skull in a single strike. In 2006, Professor Lee Berger's research team at the University of the Witwatersrand analyzed the fossil of the Taung child, the skull of a 3.5-year-old Australopithecus africanus child, discovered in South Africa in 1924. The results showed scratches and deep puncture wounds inside the eye sockets matching precisely the attack pattern of large modern eagles when they hunt monkeys in the Thai forest of Ivory Coast. Not a fall, not an accident. That child was taken from the sky in an instant before anyone on the ground could react. And this was not an isolated case. Scientists believe giant eagles hunted children and solitary early humans for millions of years, an invisible threat that our ancestors had no way to defend against. Eagles attack from above, you never see them coming, but at least you still have a chance to run. The next one on this list? You don't get that chance. Because it's already waiting for you at the one place you have to go every single day. The ancient crocodile. Sounds familiar, but the crocodile our ancestors faced was nothing like the ones alive today. This one was 3 times bigger, 3 times more aggressive, and our ancestors encountered it every single day. Sarcosuchus imperator, its full scientific name, was 12 meters long, weighed 8 tons, and had over 100 conical, backward-curving teeth designed perfectly to lock onto prey with no possibility of escape. Its bite force reached 9 tons per square centimeter, 10 times stronger than a modern crocodile, enough to crush a human femur in less than a second. But the size wasn't the most terrifying thing. The most terrifying thing was that you never knew it was there. Sarcosuchus didn't chase its prey, didn't roar. It lay completely still beneath the surface for hours, motionless as a floating log, and waited. Scientists call this strategy sit-and-wait predation, hunting through complete passive stillness. Our ancestors had to drink water every day, had to bathe, had to cross rivers. They had no other choice. The scientific evidence comes directly from the Homo habilis fossil OH8, an ancient human foot with crocodile bite marks pressed deep into the bone, found at Olduvai Gorge, Tanzania, 1.85 million years old. Only 1 foot remained. The rest of that person was never found. A crocodile kills you in seconds. Fast. Clean. But the next one on this list doesn't work that way. It doesn't just kill you, it stores you. To eat later. Piece by piece. Pachycrocuta. Have you ever seen a modern hyena? It doesn't look that terrifying. Now imagine one that weighed 200 kilograms. Pachycrocuta brevirostris, the giant extinct hyena, was the largest hyena that ever lived on Earth, the size of a fully grown male lion. But unlike a lion, Pachycrocuta didn't hunt alone. It hunted in packs. Coordinated, tactical. And its jaws, that's what was truly terrifying. Pachycrocuta had the strongest bite force of any mammal in recorded history, powerful enough to crush the bones of a fully grown elephant. Paleontologists found ancient human bones in cave systems, bearing chew marks that only Pachycrocuta could produce, bones completely crushed, bone marrow sucked clean. Nothing was left. Professor C.K. Brain's research at Swartkrans, South Africa, confirmed that Pachycrocuta regularly dragged the bodies of early humans back to its caves, not to eat immediately, but to store them. Like a natural refrigerator. Our ancestors weren't just hunted. They were put in storage. Pachycrocuta is at least something you could see coming. The next one is different. Most people have never even heard its name. And that is exactly why it is more dangerous than anything you've heard so far. Dinofelis. You've never heard this name before, and that is exactly why it's more terrifying than anything else on this list. Dinofelis, a name meaning terrible cat in ancient Greek, was a completely extinct saber-toothed cat, not the famous Smilodon, not any species you've seen in a textbook. It weighed 120 kilograms, the size of the largest male leopard, but different from a leopard in one critical way. A leopard hunts whatever prey it can catch. Dinofelis didn't. It hunted only one type of prey, primates, and our ancestors were primates. In 1981, Professor C.K. Brain published a landmark study in his book, The Hunters or the Hunted, based on thousands of fossils found in cave systems across South Africa. His conclusion shook the scientific community. Dinofelis was a specialist predator that specifically targeted hominins, the direct ancestors of modern humans. Its signature was two distinctive puncture holes at the top of the skull, short, sharp canines driving straight down, through the bone, into the brain. Fast, precise, no prolonged suffering. Dinofelis didn't hunt for sport. It hunted because our ancestors were its favorite meal. Dinofelis evolved specifically to hunt us. That might sound like the peak of terrifying. But the one at the top of this list didn't need to evolve further. It was already perfect 2 million years ago, and it's still alive today. The leopard. You might be surprised. Not a lion, not a tiger, not some massive extinct creature, just a leopard. The exact same leopard you see behind glass at the zoo today. And that is precisely why it's number one. The leopard 2 million years ago looked identical to the leopard today. Same spotted coat, same cold yellow eyes. Same 2-meter body, 90 kilograms of muscle, built entirely for one purpose: to kill. It didn't evolve further because it didn't need to. It was already perfect from the beginning. A leopard doesn't hunt on impulse. It watches its prey for hours, sometimes days before it strikes. It approaches in absolute silence, one step at a time, until it's only a few meters away. Then in 1/10 of a second, it leaps, bites straight into the throat, holds on until the prey stops breathing completely. No sound, no warning, just darkness and death. Then it drags the body up into a tree as high as 6 meters where nothing else can reach it. It eats slowly, without hurry. In 2025, Professor Manuel Dominguez Rodrigo's research team at Rice University, USA, used AI to analyze Homo habilis fossils OH7 and OH65 at Olduvai Gorge, Tanzania, two ancient humans who lived 1.85 million years ago. The AI was trained on 1,496 images of bite marks from modern carnivores, lions, leopards, hyenas, and crocodiles. The result? Bite marks on ancient human bones matched leopard patterns with over 90% accuracy, not by accident. Not just once. Leopards hunted our ancestors systematically for millions of years. Our ancestors weren't safe on the ground, weren't safe in caves, and they certainly weren't safe beneath the trees. A leopard doesn't need to be the biggest, doesn't need to be the fastest. It just needs to be more patient than you. So those are the 5 animals that treated our ancestors as a daily meal. Eagles attacked from the sky, crocodiles ambushed from the water, hyenas crushed every bone and stored the remains. Dinofelis evolved just to hunt us. And the leopard patient, intelligent, relentless, has been confirmed by science as the most dangerous predator of early humans in history. But here's the most fascinating part. Because they were constantly hunted for millions of years, our ancestors were forced to change, forced to live in larger groups, forced to communicate, forced to build tools, forced to develop intelligence. In other words, these 5 animals didn't just hunt our ancestors, they created us. Without the pressure of those predators, Homo sapiens might never have become the dominant species on Earth. That is the most uncomfortable scientific truth about the origin of humanity. If you found this video interesting, subscribe so you don't miss the next stories about human origins, evolution, and the unsolved mysteries of history.